What's going on, y'all? D-Spence Beats. And welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to go over an interesting character by the name of Tariq Nasheed. I've known about him for a very long time. This is way back in the old black YouTube days. Where people first started being on camera for real. Shout out to Tommy Sotomayor. If you know the history, you know what's up. His videos annoy me, but sometimes he's spot on. So I'm not a hater. I could not like you and still acknowledge when you do something right. So in this situation, sometimes he says some things that I agree with. Saying that Dr. Umar Johnson, some people want him to fail, think he's a grifter. But Umar Johnson, even though he is a flawed individual, I still understand what his messages. And the same thing with Tariq Nasheed. Now, according to Tariq Nasheed, I'm a tether. My parents are from the Caribbean, even though I was born and raised in America. Born and raised. And my parents didn't instill in me that I was different from anyone else. My parents didn't tell me anything. They just say, hey, you're a black man in America, so guess what? I'm a black man in America. That's it. There's no other viewpoints, there's no hidden meaning, that's it. So I'm just black. That means I am black American, I am African, I am Caribbean American. I am a black man in America. Now, this situation, it really gets me upset. There are so many people out there who will fight tooth and nail to make it seem like Africans never sold Africans. It never happened. It was kumbaya. It was a paradise in Africa before the white man came. Never acknowledging the Arab slave trade. Because apparently the Arab slave trade never happened either. Or if it did happen, it's not important enough. There's people out there who have a fairy tale fantasy about Africa. The same people who go out to Africa and tell you how rich everything is. And then when you get there, you hear all the horrible stories. So I am not one to sugarcoat anything. I'm very, very blunt. And I like the fact that people are holding some Africans accountable. But there are still people like her, who maybe her family in particular was not involved with the slave trade, but just make it seem like it never happened pisses me off. It's too many people from Africa. Let's go to the Salaga slave market. Salaga slave market is talking about how slavery was in Ghana, okay? So before we try to make it seem like, oh, nah, there's just a narrative, these are Africans talking about what Africans used to do to Africans. So please, let's stop with the nonsense that is all made up. It's okay to be flawed. All right? Now, the other narrative is they're saying, well, in their eyes, they weren't selling other Africans. In their eyes at the time, they were selling other tribes. And the point is, you still sold other Africans. Okay, just accept it. So let's see this bullshit she's about to say.
Go to New
And by the way, I haven't watched it yet. I just know by the way she looks, it might be some bullshit.
Orleans
Right.
and show me some food
Yeah.
that reminds you of food that you've had in
Thank
Nigeria.
you. Yep.
You know, show me some customs, some religions, some
thank
belief
you.
systems
Dances
that,
and
oh my
you know,
God,
you
that
like, what?
harken right back to the continent. So
Same.
it's not about a cultural difference. It's just lies that we've been
Propaganda.
told. So we're like, oh, you know, they don't like you.
Right.
By the way, they sold you.
Yup.
Right.
So you can't trust them. Those people.
Yup.
Right.
I'm
And then,
like,
There were Nigerians, there were Ghanaians, there were Senegalese that sold other Africans into slavery. What's wrong? That's like saying there's no door of no return in these countries I just mentioned because of what you want them to believe.
and
Yep.
so we're believing them? Like,
Yup.
we're all just going to believe them?
Yup.
These are from other Africans. Okay? These are not from white people. Other Africans. This is only one video I'm going to show you for now. There's another video about this Nigerian queen who owned 300 black slaves. And even when the slavery was has ended, she wanted to hold on to them anyway. She didn't want to let go.
And let them tell the story? How you know that we sold you?
Yeah, right.
Because a white man told you we did that?
Right.
And you just gonna believe him?
Well, they trained us to believe him. We
That's
were
what I'm trying to tell
he
you.
must
So
know.
you would
And
never
educated,
you would
yeah.
never question it. So it's a
Yeah.
lot of propaganda that of course
That's
still
not propaganda.
permeates our cultural understandings. But for me, I'm like, hey, look, and this is what I always tell people who come to Ghana with me, right? Because
And speaking of African, if you want to talk about African, who was this lady? This Ghanaian lady who they get this lady. She's Ghanaian, and she was like some kind of chief marketing executive at Netflix. They have her act as a black representative at all these corporations. And I'm gonna show you why. I want to play this clip. And she was up there with Godfrey and this other cat, and they're talking that same old, yo, food from New Orleans look like African food, and
I didn't know if I changed the.
I want y'all to
okay,
hear
here we go.
this. I want y'all to hear. This is a short clip. This is a short clip. Dude, we got to unpack this. Hold on. I forgot what this woman's name is. Some of y'all have seen her before. Hold on. Who is this? Hold on. Let me get some of these people out of here. Okay. Let me show this. Let me take my phone off the thing. Okay. So listen to this woman. Hold on. Because this woman keeps making... Ma'am, not right now, ma'am. Not right now, ma'am. Not right now. Damn, you in that bonnet and the dry lips. Not right now, ma'am. Damn. Good grief. All right, if I say no, if I refuse your request, just keep it pushing. Don't keep pushing the damn button, please. All right? All right, I'm trying to make a point here.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so
What I'm doing right now, I'm popping up this other Nigerian slave owner. And I could probably put it on YouTube, probably better, but I'm doing that at the same time he's talking.
this lady here, I forgot what her name is, so she's up here talking about the similarities in the foods. There we go. And then she said something about slavery. Hold on. Just listen. Hold on. Let me get the volume up. Hold on.
and show me some food
Yeah.
that reminds you of food that you've had in
Thank
Nigeria.
you. Yep.
You know, show me some cuts. Go to New Orleans
Right.
and show me some food
Yeah.
that reminds you of food that you've had in
Thank
Nigeria.
you. Yep.
Did that?
Right.
What?
Hey.
And you just gonna believe him?
Well, they trained us to believe him. We
That's
were
what I'm trying to tell
he
you.
must
So
know.
you would
And
never
educated,
you would
yeah.
never question it. So it's a
Yeah.
lot of propaganda that of course still permeates our cultural understandings. But for me, I'm like, hey, look, and this is what I always tell people who come to Ghana with me, right? Because
Okay. Man, I don't know where to begin. It's way too much to unpack with that, dude. What kind of weird lie is that?
Okay, I'll speed
What
it
kind
up.
of weird lie is that? Like, yeah, we sold y'all. Who told y'all that? The white people? Huh? What? It's very well documented. Y'all admitted it. Didn't several African nations came out apologizing for doing it? What are they talking about? Y'all admitted it. You still got the damn slave castles over there. What are you talking about? You still make money.
Now, the question I have for Tariq Nasheed is, what about the black people who are saying that they were Native Americans, they never been to Africa? Because apparently there was one of them said, oh, well, there were no ships that came to America. I don't know what the fuck going on with this FBA movement, honestly.
Doing tours over there in them slave castles describing in detail how you were selling people. What is this woman talking about? What the hell? I mean, they got them slave dungeons, East Africa, West Africa. I've been to the ones in Zanzibar. They got them all over. And we had you niggas on the here with the chains and these donjan, the one for the women, the one for the men, and this is the door of time. They sit there and give you a whole tour, breaking it down. It was a very elaborate system. Yeah, the white D man didn't tell me. Y'all told me. Good grief. These folks be just saying anything, man. What kind of lie is that? But you know what, man? This is like a weird destiny swap type of thing, man. The fact that they got this woman I forgot, I can't think of her name, but they hire her as like a corporate market somebody. She's always representing the black community. And this is why they want people like that to represent us so they can erase our ass and make us some damn generic Africans. See, these corporate entities, they like to get these first-gen immigrants to serve as the face of black America because they are buffer. They elevate these people who don't possess our spirit and our generational trauma, our historic grievances, our lineage-based claims, so they know they can check the diversity box without having to address the systemic foundational issues that goes on. So they can outsource black representation to somebody who aligns more easily with corporate comfort zones.
Yeah, I hate when people just try to gaslight you, make it seem like history ain't history. Oh, it never happened like that. It never happened like that.
Well, y'all remember Emmanuel Acho? He said something very interesting when he was on some show, and he basically said what we've been saying. They were talking about racism. He was like, well, me being an immigrant from Nigeria, I can talk about racism. I can have a different perspective because I'm not going to have the generational trauma and the baggage of slavery. So I can have a conversation about racism from a different perspective. So he said something to that effect, and I'm paraphrasing. It was very interesting that he said that because these people consciously know that the dominant society prefers somebody who don't come from our lineage to step to them because we ain't going to take no shit. When we see something janky, we usually call it out. You understand? These other people go along to get along. We go to some corporate job or whatever. If something ain't right, hey man, we ain't getting paid enough. Hey, we need dental, we need medical. FDA is gonna say something. You understand? We gonna say, I love TikTok Shop. These other people will just kind of go along with whatever. You understand? Any type of misrepresentation of us, they'll go along with it. We, on the other hand, we're like, oh no, that what you about to put on? Like, hey, I don't appreciate y'all showing these black women like that.
But anyway, you see what I'm trying to say. Let's go to this African slave trader. This one seems a little short. That's what's up. Let's go.
There's a square in the heart of Lagos. Millions of Nigerians pass through it every single day. It is named after a woman, but almost nobody knows her real story.
Bitch.
The British called her dangerous. Their consul sent urgent...
If you owned African slaves, fuck you. Okay? What I keep telling people who just want to blame white people for everything, I keep telling them, for one, the Arabs get no blame at all, for some odd reason, ever. And also, there was Asian slavery, there's also white slavery. So slavery is not just a monopoly from white people or white Spanish, Portuguese, Spanish. This is not a monopoly. They may have done it the most. They are the most successful ones, but they're not the only ones. And guess what? Slavery is still happening today in 2026. There are a lot of countries that don't have the technology to report certain things. So you have poor souls who are being stuck physically somewhere by force, in which they are not able to vouch for themselves. Their passport is taken, all their identity is taken, and the government, for some odd reason, thinks it's okay to ignore these things. These are factors, okay? So, please understand that slavery is not just some one-sided thing. This is happening all over the world from every race of human. So, this is a human thing. Just have to let people know. So, what does that mean is, it doesn't matter if you're in Africa or Europe. You're capable of the same exact fucking evils as anyone else.
Dispatches to London, warning them about her stranglehold over an entire region. She owed more wealth than most men in West Africa. She made and unmade kings. And when the British came for her with gunboats, she didn't beg. She left. And then she came back stronger. This is the story of Madam Efunro Tinubu, and Britain did not want you to know it. She was born around 1810 in the Ojokodo forest area of Igbaland, Yoruba territory. Her name at birth, Efunporoyi Osun Tinubu. She came from no royal family, no throne, no silver spoon. What she had was knowledge. Her grandmother, Osunshola, a herb trader. Her mother, Nijede, a food seller. From them, she learned the fundamentals of commerce before she was a teenager. Then came war in 1821. The Egba and Owo regions erupted in conflict. Towns destroyed, families fled, many were captured and enslaved.
AI going crazy.
Efonroyi survived. She was barely 20 years old, a widow, 2 sons, and she was just getting started. In 1833, a widow met an exiled king. The Oba of Lagos, Adele Ajosun, was visiting Abeokuta. He was charmed by her. They married, and Tinubu moved with him to Badagry, right on the Atlantic coast. This was her first masterstroke, because Badagry was not just a town, it was a port, a commercial gateway between the Yoruba interior and the European traders crossing the Atlantic. She became the essential intermediary, the one person every merchant had to go through. She traded tobacco, salt, palm oil, and slaves. We cannot tell this story honestly without saying that clearly. She owned over 360 personal slaves. She was brilliant, she was powerful, and she participated in one of history's greatest crimes. Both things are true. In 1835, Oba Adele was restored to the throne of Lagos. Tinubu entered the city as royalty and immediately expanded. When Adele died in 1837, she helped install his son, Oluwole, as king. Then she married his military advisor, Yusuf Ubada, and used that position to monopolize slaves and palm oil, while supplying firearms across the Yoruba wars. When Oluwole died suddenly, Tinubu arranged for her brother-in-law, Akitoyi, to take the throne. He rewarded her with ownership of prime land in downtown Lagos, the land that is now Tinubu Square. 3 kings, all placed or supported by one woman. No crown, no army, just wealth, intelligence, and an iron will. Then the British arrived, and everything changed. In December 1851, the British bombarded Lagos. They removed Kosoko from the throne and reinstated Akitoyi, Tinubu's king. Akitoyi signed a treaty abolishing the slave trade on January 1st, 1852. On paper, Tinubu had won, but the British had not come to help Lagos. They had come to control it. British consul Benjamin Campbell targeted Tinubu directly, denouncing her economic control over Lagos and her continued secret slave trading. She did not back down. She publicly called out Campbell for violating royal sovereignty. Then she organized a plot to remove him entirely. A Nigerian woman plotting to overthrow a British government official in 1856. Campbell found out. He arrived in Lagos Harbour with British gunboats. She had no warships, no army to match the Royal Navy. So she left. But she was not finished. Exile, for most people, is the end. For Efonroyi Tinubu, it was a reset. She returned to Abeokuta, the city of her childhood, and rebuilt. She remained prosperous. She expanded. She never stopped. Then came the war with Dahomey, the kingdom of Dahomey, one of the most militarized states in West Africa, threatened to overrun Abeokuta. The city needed weapons. It needed someone with the connections to get them. Tinubu supplied the entire city with ammunition Abeokuta held. And in recognition, she was awarded the title of Iyalode of all Igbo land, the highest chieftaincy title a Yoruba woman could ever hold. The British exiled her from Lagos. She went to Abeokuta and became the most powerful woman in the entire region. She did not just survive, she ascended. Efonroyi Tinubu died in 1887 in Abeokuta. Internationally, almost invincible. But in Lagos, her name sits on a square in the city she ruled. Her methods were ruthless. Her participation in slavery is indefensible, but her refusal to collapse under colonial pressure, that is a story Africa deserves to tell on its own terms. Britain exiled her, history tried to erase her, and still, her name...
Fuck that bitch. That music is too epic for a story like this. I understand she refused to go under British rule, but still, you are no different than the British in my eyes. So fuck you, bitch. And no disrespect to Nigerians. If you're Nigerian and you say shit like, "Oh, you're a half blood because you're American," I'm a full blood. Fuck you too. Shout out to my boy who said that shit. He's Nigerian, but he ain't no better. That's my boy. He gets a pass. But there's a lot of fucking Nigerians, sorry, Africans, who talk down upon the American black people, okay? From a colonial perspective. They'll say shit like, yeah, you a half blood, you're not like a full blood like me. Because they're kind of making fun of you that you were quote unquote sold and they weren't sold. So if you like that, fuck you. If you're not like that, and you understand that these evils that happened at one point by the hands of other Africans, then we're cool. I just hate when people are just so ignorant. Oh man, don't tell me y'all ain't see that shit the whole time. Y'all ain't see it the whole time?